G'day guys and girls, how are we all doing? Welcome to this episode of Lee's Trucking with me, your host, of course, Lee. So today is a little bit different in terms of the video. I'm going to be basically having a rant and doing a little sort of open debate, if you want to call it that, based on where the hell the HGV drivers stand now. COVID is finished. Are we still classed? First and foremost, do you feel valid as a lorry driver, whether that be a class 2, a class 3 even, or a class 1, whatever it is you're doing in the industry? If you're a van driver, do you feel valued or undervalued in your job? So for me personally, I'm going to talk on my personal level, so I can't obviously speak for everybody. My experience is totally different to all yous out there watching, so don't think, oh, because Lee's Trucking said this, it's gospel. It isn't. It's just me, my theories and my beliefs within this trade and this industry. So for me to be undervalued or overvalued, how do I feel? Well, the first and foremost, it is and solely depends on where you work, and what I mean by that is, as a class 1 driver, I've worked for 2 companies and it's night and day with the way I feel, and I'll go into that a little while in the video. And when I was a class 2 driver, I worked for several companies, and I don't like to go to work and feel like a number, and I felt undervalued at a lot of companies. They just want to use and abuse you, pay you shit money and say thank you very much. Oh, you're leaving, all right, you got that door, next one. And that's how it seems sometimes, and it gives the industry a bad name and a bad reputation, and none of us like that. So I'm guessing not everybody gets the same treatment. I don't get it here, but I don't believe I have had that sort of treatment, but it certainly doesn't happen where I'm working now. So I can honestly say, hand on heart, that right at this moment in time, I do feel valued in my job. And I guess the key factors in that, if you're looking to feel valued, in theory, this is not practically, because I've just proven it doesn't work, but in theory you would think if you work for a smaller company, you can be more noticeable. You being noticed is you as a person, not as a number. And you would think if you work for a big company like, I don't know, a Royal Mail or someone like that, you become a number, not a key figure. And I don't always think it works like that. Theory it does, practicality it doesn't. So once upon a time I worked for Royal Mail on the agency, and I was on there for about a year, and within the first 2 months people knew my face, people knew my name. I wasn't, oh, it's that guy again over there who supports Crystal Palace. It was my name, it was all that sort of stuff. I was very much valued when I worked at Royal Mail, and the way the work was done, there was no sort of favoritism or anything like that. So you feel more valued than you do at a job where there's favoritism or something like that, or you don't feel valued. So for me, being valued is so important, and it's really key to you succeeding in this industry. I think if you're valued, you'll do more. You'll want to do more for your company and the employer. If you're undervalued, you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You think, what's the point? They treat me like shit. They don't care who I am, so I'm just going to not turn into work today. Personally, I haven't done that for at least 20 odd years, but when I was a van driver, there was a point in time where I'd done that a couple of times, I won't lie. I called in sick because I felt undervalued and treated like shit, if I'm being honest. Didn't care that you'd make the extra effort and go out your way to do something. They were like, no thank yous, you don't get nothing like that. So you've got to be very careful in this industry. Right, I'm just going to move on to another segment as well now. Just scrape over the surface of it. Let's talk wages, money. There is such a variety of wages and hourly rate on class 1s. and class 2s, but specifically at the moment I'm talking personally, which is class 1. And I feel you should get paid what you're worth, if I'm being honest. And I think there should be a bracket that we're all included in, from a beginner or newbie, as I'm going to call it, to an experience. There should be a window. So for example, if we're talking hourly rate, the minimum you can earn as a newbie should be, I don't know, say 16 to 17 pounds an hour. Okay, minimum. And the maximum, if you've been driving lorries for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years, there's a maximum, a threshold of maybe about 23 to 25 pound an hour, not including your overtime rates, just a standard hourly rate. And I believe you could be warranted that based on the fact, let's say you've been driving for 30 years and I've been driving for 3 months, okay, or even 3 weeks. I'm a newbie, and I join a company that does a whole different set of works to you, that's no more physical, it's probably less physical and easier, and I get paid the equivalent of £20 an hour, and you're slugging your guts out for £16 an hour. Do you think that's right? I think experience does go a long way in the industry. However, I know you choose your hourly rate, or you choose the job you go to that defines your hourly rate. I understand that, but there should be a cap, a guard between, say, 16 to 24 pounds an hour, and within that area you'll get paid for your level of expertise. And a newbie, in my honest opinion, as much as I was one, a newbie shouldn't be paid greater money than someone that's been driving 10, 15, 20, 25 years. It shouldn't be. That's my honest opinion. This is probably going to open a can of worms on me now, and people are going to give me so much abuse, but I'm not here picking on anyone. Remember, 2 years ago I was a newbie on class 1 as well, but I was earning relatively good money. So I haven't been in the position where I'm fighting to earn good money on the class 1s. And all I've done is superseded myself. I've moved on to another company, and the other company I've moved to, the money is pretty much the same, if anything a little bit more, by maybe 100 quid or something. So I haven't gone backwards. I'm still gaining experience. I'm still, listen, every day is a learning day, and I'm still learning. And I just feel that there should be a cap on minimum and maximum for wages, and therefore I think you'd get more, certainly for your hours, more overtime out of it as well. You could earn more money. The higher you're paid, the more overtime you do. You get paid more than Jack Jones, who sat next to you, has only been driving for a week. You know, I just think it needs to be a bit fairer in that end of, or that part of the industry. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right, because I'm probably not. That's just me. That's my opinion. I just think if you're more experienced, you're more valued, you know more, you can pass on more, you should earn more. That's just my honest opinion on how I think the system should work. Right, let's get away from wages. But any comments, like I said, drop your comments below. We can have a debate about it, we can chat about it, whatever. I could even do another video on it with answering people's questions. That's not a problem. If there's enough questions, I'll make another video answering specifically to the people that have asked the questions. So you might want to stick around for that in a few weeks, if we get enough replies and comments below backwards, sort of with an open weekly debate. So moving on, I would now like to just briefly skim over what is, I find it an issue. I want to find out what kind of driver you are. So once again, once we've talked about this, comments below, leave your comments, ask questions back, I will reply. So I get really frustrated with lorry drivers. Two sorts of lorry drivers. Ones that are impatient, and I'll talk about how I mean by that in a minute, and others that are just, excuse my French now, horrible, selfish bastards. So scenario, it's happened to me loads, and I'm sure it's happened to a lot of you. It might even be you, the people that are doing it, I don't know. If so, I would love to hear your reasons as to why you do it. You know, so we all drive lorries. We're all governed to a maximum of 60 miles an hour. So let's say, for argument's sake, we all go 56 miles an hour. Okay, now your 56 will be different to my 56, not by much, but we're talking, you know, whatever. It's so small. And what does my head in is, I'll be going down, let's say traveling down the M4, okay, and I'll be, let's say, approaching a lorry, and I move to the middle lane because I want to overtake, and then all of a sudden from nowhere they find that extra little bit of power which keeps you in the middle lane for a long time trying to overtake. Now we know these lorry drivers check their mirrors and they know we're there. Do they do anything to help us, like slow down a mile an hour or two, which is the speed he was going initially, which is why I decided to overtake him, because I had the speed and the power to get past. And it's becoming a very, very major problem in my eyes. I'm seeing it all the time. It's like, nope, you can't overtake me, I'm not going to let you, my balls are bigger than yours, my lorry's got more power. That's how it's coming across, and it really bugs me. Now, me personally, okay, if I see a lorry coming up and I see he's maybe struggling a little bit, I drop down 2 miles an hour from 56 to 54. Sometimes I only need to drop to 55. I let him go, I let him come in front of me, even give him a nice flash, and he's on his way. Not a problem. Why can't everybody else be like that? It is if it is illegal to overtake someone because they are king of the road, regardless of what you're driving. You know, the idea of this job is to be safe and courteous, and there is a lot of lorry drivers that aren't safe and aren't courteous to other people, and they just think, this is my part of the road, I'm on it first, fuck you lot. And it really does get to me. So I want to know, are you one of them drivers, or are you one of them drivers like myself that allows people to overtake him? I mean, they've got to get past me first, but I allow it. I don't think, oh no, I'm going to sit there. I could run plenty of scenarios through you. I'm not going to bother because it will infuriate me. But that's the type I really dislike. And another type I don't like is, again, you may be overtaking a lorry in the middle lane. You're doing the maximum speed your vehicle will allow you to drive, and I'm probably speaking more on behalf of the foreign drivers right now, and I don't mean that to be discriminating or anything, but what I mean is a lot of the foreign lorries are a little bit quicker than us. Certainly the Spanish lorries, for some reason, they do 60. So you'll be in the middle lane. Again, we'll use the M4 or the M25 as a scenario. You're overtaking, you're doing 55 to 56 miles an hour, whatever the vehicle allows you to do, and you just see in your mirror, the lorry is so far up your ass, you can't go any faster. He can't go in the outside lane. He's just got to bear with it and drop the pace a little bit. Because don't forget, guys, if I put my brakes on for any reason through someone in front of me, he's in my back door and he's going to kill me and himself. So, you know, if you are one of them drivers, and we've all done it, including myself back in the day on my class 2s, up people's asses thinking I was fucking Billy Big Bollocks and that lot. I've learned a lesson since then. I'm not that person anymore. I don't drive like that. I drive super sensible. I am Miss Daisy as far as my wife's concerned because I drive too slow. I ain't no rally driver. I'm a nice, cool, calm, casual driver. And nothing worse than these drivers that are up your arse, they're flashing you, they're doing their horn, saying move. Trust me, mate, if I could move and get past the lorry I'm overtaking any quicker, I would, but I can't. So you know what? You're just gonna have to grin and bear it. So comment below, guys. Is that you? Have you experienced that? What sort of stuff you experienced out on the road? And how do you think we could prevent this or better it moving forward? All right, so think on, comment below. Let's get the debate going. Right, guys, last but not least, so I've changed camera for this just to see how we get on with it and see what works, what doesn't. I'm still trying to figure out, is that it there? Yeah, that's the camera there. So I'll keep looking there, thinking my camera's there, but it's not. So last but not least, certainly not least, it's a big bugbear of mine, and I really don't understand it. Maybe we need to get car users involved. I just don't know, but Christ, we're governed, as you all know, to 56 miles an hour, maximum of 60 miles per hour. Why the hell do cars think it's fine to do 50 on the inside lane, or even that 54? And you know what I'm going to say, you know the old scenarios, you have to overtake them. So you overtake them, and then you get back in your inside lane, they're behind you. Then before you know it, they're at the side of you again, overtaking you and getting in front and dropping speed. And it's so frustrating. It really is frustrating. You know, oh, you get them idiots that do 55 and we can't overtake, but we can't sit behind them. So we move to the middle lane to try and overtake. Then after about 3 or 4 minutes of you trying to overtake, the idiots then realise and look in the mirror and go, oh, I've got a lorry there. I'll put my foot down. And they bugger off. 10 minutes down the road, you're on the inside lane, that car again. So you see where we're going with this. You see the scenario. Do you feel like that happens more and more often now than it has? Because to me, it happens all the time. Currently, travelling all around the UK, well, more Europe than UK, and it's just happening all the time. And certainly on the continent, on the slip roads coming on, oh my God, they are terrible. These drivers are terrible. They're braking, they're slowing down, they're practically stopping, which means, do I need to stop? Do I need to move over? What do I do? Because in Europe, I do believe it's 1 for 1. So, excuse me, I always burp when I do videos. I don't know what, it's like a nervous thing. I don't know. So I do believe that in most countries in Europe, it's 1 for 1. So you let one on, you go, one goes behind. You know, you do need to slow down. You do need to give way to the oncoming traffic. You know, it's a bit different in England. Slip roads in England are used to build up the speed to get up to flow with the traffic and then move in. Here, they don't seem to give a shit. They just slow down. They pull out at 35, 40 miles an hour on you. You have to slow down or move over to the next lane. Chances are you've got to slow down because a lot of the motorways or the national roads are only 2 lanes. So a lot of time you're not allowed in the second lane. So it causes chaos. Drivers cause chaos. So here is my theory. Here is how I think we should fix it. Okay. It won't happen. It's never going to happen. But I strongly believe, okay, once you pass your practical driving test, there's 2 ways we can look at it. You rather have to pass a practical motorway test to fully have your license, or you must, I repeat, you must involve motorway lessons on your driving lesson. I know you can pay for motorway lessons once you've passed to learn how the motorway works. I think that needs to be, that's bullshit in my opinion. That's just another way of making money. I think you should be taught, by all means, you should be taught to go on a motorway, how to drive on a motorway, how to enter a motorway, how to exit a motorway, how to maneuver into the lanes, why you need to maneuver into the lanes. That's what needs to be done. So our country is so poor at things like this, and yet I thought they'd be on top of it because it's a money-making scheme, no? So this isn't about money for me. This is about road safety, other road users having care, you know, taking care of other people as well as yourself, because some of these people, mate, should not be allowed to drive a vehicle, certainly from the evidence I've seen on a motorway. And, you know, people are probably going to say to me, but, you know, you don't learn to drive properly until you've passed your test. I get that. But at the same time, you don't reverse your car a lot, but you still have to do it. And it's the same as a motorway. You might not go on a motorway a lot, but you'll still have to do it. Yeah? So I do strongly believe you should be learning how to drive on a motorway. You should learn more signs on a motorway. Some people don't even know what the little black number means on the boards, on the blue boards when you come to a junction. It's a junction number. It helps you. It's there. Everything on a board, on a sign, on a post is there for your benefit to help you as a driver. And there are so many bad drivers on the road. I used to be one of them. I used to be a little boy racer thinking I was Billy Big Bollocks. I could do anything I wanted to. I could drive where I wanted to. I could push in front of drive. I used to be like that. And then I woke up 20 years ago and thought, you know what? I don't need to be a prat like that. I need to be a sensible driver. And it all happened when I got my class 2. All happened then. And you look at the way people drive and you assess how you drive differently. You actually pick the bones out of other drivers more than yourself, because you thought you're no longer Billy Big Bollocks. You're sort of getting towards Captain Sensible, if that makes sense. And to get towards Captain Sensible, you notice a lot of poor driving. And I'm just wondering, to all you truckers out there, this isn't just me, is it? You must all come across bad
drivers. I think the only problems I don't have are people on motorbikes. They don't stick around long enough to be an inconvenience. All right, when you're stuck in stationary traffic and you're creeping along and they come up, they're a bit scary sometimes if you don't notice them. But other than that, you know, motorbikes in general, they're absolutely fine. Car users, I honestly believe if 80% of these went and retook their test, sorry, if 100 people went and took their test, only 80 would pass. I think there'd be a 20% fail. The 80% is high, of course it is, because when you're on a test day, you drive to the best of your ability. You need to carry that through. But there's 20% of people that don't know and can't do shit. I have been in cars with people and they can't do maneuvers and you have to do them for you. I have someone in my family who I love to death and she's a good driver, but she doesn't like reversing. And you know why she's not like reversing? You don't learn it enough. And I think they should be more, you know, open to, our government needs to be more open to giving people better opportunities at learning to drive. Look, when we learned to drive, I had a choice. I'd go around a sweeping corner, a sharp corner, or a reverse park. I mean, you only do one of the three, but you have to learn all three. But you don't learn all three. You have 3 or 4 goes and that's it. And they think you're good. They think you can do it because it's fresh in your mind. Once you've passed your test, guys, the freshness becomes a fading memory because you think you're Billy Big Bollocks and you can do it all. And these people that drive on the motorways and cause us truckers problem after problem. If anybody watching this is a car driver, take a look at yourself and think, I do that. If I do that, maybe I'll change. Just 1% of this population that drive, if they changed the way they drive on the motorways towards us truck drivers, that would make so much difference. Maybe we can start a campaign. I don't know. But I'm fed up of driving around cars on motorways that are only doing 50, 52 miles an hour, don't understand the rules, the regulations, the laws. You know, you can actually be done for driving too slow on a motorway. I've overtaken cars doing 45 miles an hour on a motorway. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing for them. It can cause knock-on effects for us. It can cause accidents. So please, 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 any car drivers here, just think on from now on how you approach a motorway, how you drive on a motorway, how you're exiting. Just think what's around you. Yeah, I've delved too much into the car theory side of it, and I wanted to stick with the trucks, but I've gone on a rant. That's it. The rant is there. I had to do it. So lorry drivers, let me return. Do you think you drive well enough? Do you think you're a safe driver? Do you think you are one of them drivers I was describing before that's courteous and gives way and slows your pace down when there's a lorry overtaking? Because that's me. That's what I do. I'm a courteous driver. I let people in. I do my job to the best of my ability, and I don't mean the best of my ability. I'm sticking at 56. Mate, yeah, on the middle lane, he's been there for 5 to 6 minutes trying to overtake me. It's his problem if he can't get past me. Just slow your pace down. Just drop your pace down. That 2 miles an hour. Let him go past. You get on with your day. Just give him 5 seconds when he's got past you to get that extra distance ahead. Then you can go back to 56 miles an hour. And guess what? You can crack on with your day. And no one or nothing has been harmed. No pride's been dented, nothing like that. Because let's be honest, that's what it's all about. It's a man's pride. Doesn't want anyone overtaking him. Especially if he's got a fucking 360 engine and you're in a 530. Oh no, you don't want that shit. It needs to happen. Be courteous. Just remember, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Just remember, all you truck drivers that watch this, anybody that comes across this, if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Plenty of good content on there. Well, I think it's good content. Go down, links in the links will be below. Subscribe to the channel. Loads of stuff on here to talk about. Loads of good stuff to watch. But please, 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 all current people watching my videos, follow me. I love you all. Thank you ever so much. But please, please, please think of everybody else, not just yourself, when you're out on the roads. That's it for me. I'm done for this week. I will talk to you very, very soon and see you next week. From me, Lee's Trucking, guys. It's over and out. Ciao for now.